So now the agency is getting into a lot of detail with social media, and they actually, at this point, I remember clearly, brought in a guy who looked like he was in his mid or maybe late 20s, who was the agency's social media expert. I think he was part of a little social media agency that they had just acquired. And he presented this, and I think it was a show piece of the presentation because the client really felt, even in 2009, that a big part of the play here to make this successful was to generate, but it's a technology innovation, right? So there are people who just dig, as they say, dig, man. Do you dig it? Who are into technology innovations and have to have the latest thing. And clearly those are the people that they want to reach initially to drive the demand. These are people who pay kind of any price. They just have to have the latest thing. So reaching the influencers, for those groups is a huge part of the strategy. And social media was the key to reaching the influencers. So they get into this big time. And it's one of the first things they show in terms of digging into media types. And again, this is 2009. It's 10 years ago. So, they talked about Twitter, talked about blogs. I don't think we hear too much about blogs anymore. But the agency sent products to people who had technology blogs so they could try PowerMat and then post product reviews, as you see. So, and then they have, this is a combination, really, public relations, social media program. So social media in this particular case have actually subsumed, sort of absorbed public relations. And in fact, I believe pretty strongly if you look at the whole public relations field now, you'll see that many PR agencies have done the same thing. They want to handle the social media and the public relations because in both cases, it's a case of reaching editors and influencers and sending them product. It's not paid media in the classical sense. It's reaching people who influence opinion to get them to try your product and make recommendations to their audience. And this additional ideas to kickstart buzz is just, more PR focus. Wire art, all right? So the idea is getting rid of wires, right? So they want agencies saying, let's bring all the wires in one city together and make a huge artwork, and burn it, and I don't know what it was, but it's, something like that. And part of the plan for social media was to monitor conversation about what was, keep track of what was going on. And this talks about the monitoring. And this had already happened. PowerMat winning Best in Show and Best of Competition at a big tech event. One author tweets, PowerMat just blew my mind. I see why they got Best in Show. Bloggers note that PowerMat is energy efficient, uses a new energy distribution process while charging multiple devices simultaneously. So these are words, people. Anyway, this is showing consciousness that they're already tracking keywords and things that are going on in this very important area. All right, and this is more tracking YouTube, Twitter, different social networks and places where people are mentioning things. They've got something called TrueCast Monitor that is showing some measurement in a 2-week period of what kinds of content, YouTube, etc. You don't see a lot about Facebook here, by the way, because Facebook, not really a big factor yet, right? These are topics and words that they want to monitor. They want to have TrueCast Monitor. as part of this effort. So you see how much time, the agency is putting into really kind of wrapping their arms around this. And this thing, oh my God, I think this is either the Milky Way or the whole universe expanding, or it's the look into a brain of a particularly deranged psychopath, one or the other. And again, this is TrueCast, this company that they were using. You know what? I think it's to add mystery, and they have phrases here and words that they're tracking via social media, via this monitoring service, who's sort of got their hands or their whatever's on the pulse of a bunch of social networks, as long as you only have 8 topics. Anyway, it's all part of demonstrating some kind of black box mystery of the agency having the expertise to help with the social media. And this is just basic digital now. It's not social media. And Group M has a relationship with CBS, and so they're talking about working in terms of websites, basic classic banners and videos running on, here's the kinds of stuff they can run on with CBS. This is really questionable. You know, who knows whether this is the right thing or not. You know, this is you know, question mark. Okay, so it's creating a private ad network built around the target audience. You know, this looks sort of weird, but this is again buying banners, private media network for PowerMat. Okay, but this is buying banners and videos all over the internet and how they're going to do that. Deduplication of audiences. This is the idea of if I buy all these websites, CNET, and a lot of business sites here probably, and tech sites, I've got to be able to give an unduplicated reach number here somehow. Anyway, this is all kind of mystification. This is heading towards gift giving. This is doing some sponsoring. They're going to sponsor the New York Times. They're just throwing some ideas up here, and if the client likes something, you know, they'll stick with it. But it's just showing that they put some creative thought into it. Remember, this is a first presentation, so there's a lot of fine-tuning. Now here we have up on top the purchase funnel. Here it is: awareness, consideration, experience. This is what they're top of the funnel. I don't know why this sort of is here. I sort of feel like this should have been somewhere else. You know what a KPI is? A key performance indicator. SOV is share of voice. Cost per click. This to me is kind of a weird slide. I don't know why this goes here, where it shouldn't be somewhere else. Presentation, I don't know. So here we go back to the budget again. Okay. Now, they've spent a lot of time on social media and on internet, which for a tech product innovation, it's not surprising. Now they're going to talk about TV, and they're going to talk about cable. Something called G4, Tech Junkie and Road Warrior, Adult Swim. By the way, hockey indexes on both, high on both targets. This is where they're getting into databases that they have access to, where they're paying, the agency's paying a lot of money for these databases, where kind of third-party independent companies go out and interview. Of course, you've got your Nielsen ratings too, right? And they know that certain types of program look Spike TV, right? Comedy Central. I mean, intuitively, you look at it, History Channel, okay. There are early adopters is important. So they're starting to justify the program choices, not just the media choices. Here's more about TV. Pulse TV. So this is the flighting I talked about. And this gets into 60 TRPs, 60 target rating points across 9 networks. The target rating point is, it's like a GRP, but it's against the target. By the way, you notice they have direct response TV in here to maximize efficiency. So they're like throwing everything. All the spaghettis are going against the wall. DRTV is when you negotiate a pay-per-order deal with networks or cable companies. They're building that in because they also want to show that they're driving sales. It's not just about awareness; it's about sales. That's why they're doing it. But Family Guy sponsorship on Adult Swim doesn't sound like a bad idea, based on what I know about Family Guy. I've watched most of them with my daughter. Anyway, they're starting to get into specific program recommendations and flighting, and they're kind of pulling things together here. This is where creativity comes in too. They're kind of painting a picture. When are we on? When are we off? What's that going to do? Here's network radio. Howard Stern, as we know from our talking about network, it's not a huge factor in the world, but anyway, they're creating buzz, and they're going to do live reads. See that, folks? They're not doing copy. They want the DJs to get behind the product and recommend it before the holiday, which is not a bad idea. Now, by the way, here is their TV commercial, just so you can see it. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not going to play. Whoops, almost fell into the play video with no sound trap again. Hopefully maybe I've learned about that one. I'm going to stop this now, and I'm going to insert the TV commercial and see you on the other side.